Hello, this is Matt. This is Whatcast. Flat Earth again today. Then, so this really interested me. I haven't watched this yet. All I've seen, well, listened to, was the opening statements. The case. This is Will Duffy, architect, if you like, of the final experiment, versus Nathan Thompson, long-term big flat earther. They're just about to get into open debate. Is the last thing I watched. I'm going to just react to this in real time. I'm not going to, this is on modern day debate, so I'm not going to, when the questions start coming in, I'll stop it there. But the open debate bit is always the best bit, so I'm going to watch that right now. So let's get straight into it. Oh, by the way, before we do, I was very interested to see this because Nathan Thompson said to me, it's on my channel somewhere, that he wasn't invited to take part in the final experiment because he was like seen as too dangerous or not a shill or one of these nonsense things that they come out with. They wouldn't take me because I'll definitely blow it all apart and all this sort of stuff. His arguments are infantile. He literally says, "Thanks for playing. Welcome to Flat Earth," like he's got Tourette's. Very annoying, very unconvincing. Brags about how he used to run this group and all this other stuff back in the day and how big and famous he is. Famous for wearing a duck outfit, by the way. Hi, Nathan. Let's get straight into the debate then. Here we go. This is Nathan just finishing off his presentation here. And then they're going to get into open discussion. And let's see how it goes. I'm looking forward to this.
They're clearly not obstructed by curvature. Now, I'd highly recommend, guys, test all things and hold fast to that which is true. Once you go flat, you never globe back. Be the change you want to see on flat Earth. The truth is incontrovertible. Malice is going to attack it. Ignorance is going to try and deride it. But in the end, there it is. And you can lead globe earthers to flat water, but you cannot get them to put their sign down and think critically about the shape of the Earth. That's all I got, James. Thanks so much.
Think critically.
Thank you very much for that opening statement. What we're going to do is kick it into the open dialogue. Before we do that, just a couple of other housekeeping things. First, if you haven't yet, please do hit that like button. We appreciate your support. And
yeah.
If you are watching live,
so actually, it's a decent channel, Modern Day Debate.
Just put a poll in the live chat. This is a great opportunity to vote on whether or not you think the Earth is flat, globe, or you are unsure. With that, we'll kick it into open dialogue. Thanks very much, gentlemen. Floor is all yours.
Sure. Hey, Nathan, you just false in your opening statement. I'd like you to correct it. You said once you go flat, you never globe back. Would you please correct that right now?
No, yeah. When you go flat, as far as like testing the Earth yourself, I know you might have some flipper floppers that haven't tested the Earth themselves for 10 years, like I have. But once you do that, there's no way you're going to go back to believing you're on a cartoon ball because strangers went to Antarctica.
Jaron?
Hey, Nathan, I know you're personal friends with Jaron and Robbie, and I really don't think you should do this to them right now. Were they true flat earthers? Because they're not anymore.
I don't care what some dude thinks about the shape of the Earth.
Hey,
Do you
Nathan,
have any evidence
Nathan,
for your globe relation, bro?
Nathan,
Like,
you made a false statement. You said once you go flat, you never globe back. That's false. Your own friends, Jaron and Robbie, are no longer flat. Will you please correct your false statement?
There you go. Exactly. You've just literally said, once you go flat, you never globe back, right? And then he brings up two examples off the top of his head. And you've said, yeah, but I don't care about them. Make your mind up.
Right now?
All right. So we're going to move on to the evidence that the Earth's a globe.
You're off topic, Nathan.
Cannot concede anything.
About what people think the Earth is.
So infuriating.
So you won't even correct your mistake. That's really sad. Okay, so Nathan, let's start with an easy one. Were you aware that while we were in Antarctica, we live streamed?
Yes, I was aware there were live streams being done.
How did we live stream from Antarctica on a flat Earth? Please explain that on a flat Earth.
So you can only live stream on a globe?
How did we live stream on a flat Earth?
Not Nathan? What he's asking.
This is your job in this debate is to argue how what we did and what we observed is possible on a flat Earth. How did we live stream on a flat Earth? Please tell me.
You had 6 arguments. None of the live streaming was one of the 6 arguments. So if you could stick with your arguments that ended flat Earth instead of just...
Well, so you can dismiss them.
This is part of the final experiment. How did we live stream in Antarctica? Please answer.
Okay, live streaming from Antarctica wasn't one of your 6 arguments. You talked about a 24-hour sun, a 24-hour moon, a celestial south pole, airplane flights in the South. If you want to stick with your arguments, I can talk about how those are affirming the consequent fallacies and red herring fallacies.
Oh, fallacies.
But how you live stream from Antarctica the same way I'm live streaming right now. We have internet. It's 2025, bud.
How did we get internet in Antarctica, Nathan?
The same way I'm getting internet right now on a flat Earth, bro.
Nervous smile.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
How did we have internet in Antarctica?
Is that going to be his reason for everything?
So James, he's asked the question like 5 times. I wasn't there. I don't know how he got internet in Antarctica. That wasn't one of his 6 claims for proof.
Okay, so Nathan, you know that the flat Earth position is that internet comes through undersea cables. Is that your position?
No, definitely not. It comes through a multitude of ways. It's
You've totally said that.
Collective ensemble of things going on. You've got undersea fiber optic submarine communication cables. You've got towers. They normally put them on mountains, and the microwave towers have a Fresnel zone. And that Fresnel zone has to account for obstruction, like trees and buildings. But one of the most famous videos I had on my old YouTube channel before it was erased by your government overlords was a microwave engineer talking about how he doesn't account for curvature, sending microwave signals over long distances. So.
Okay, so we were at 80 degrees south, so there's no undersea cables, and there were no towers. There's no cell service in Antarctica. So do you have any idea how we could have got internet?
Yeah, they might have bounced it off the dome, bro. I don't know. I wasn't there. Is that all you got?
Okay, so that's the easy one. Now we'll get to the hard stuff.
Is that all you've got? Is that all you got? A question that I've got no idea how to answer? Is that all you've got? Try answering it. You can't just say I don't know and call that a win. I know your dickhead friends that think that you're God will claim that that was a winning tactic for you by just saying I wasn't there, I don't know, got anything else, I don't know, welcome to Flat Earth, thanks for playing, blah, 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 blah. I get that, right? But the fact of the matter is that just isn't true, is it? You're not fooling anyone, not converting anyone else. And this is what I like about Will here. Like, Will doesn't let any of these people get away with anything. He will not let them distract from the topic. The topic is agreed. He will stick to the topic and he will push the topic and he will push and push and push it until they as good as concede. They're never going to concede, but they're as good as concede. Everyone will see that they've conceded, but they won't say the words. And then he'll just move on to the next destroying topic. This is a lot of flat earth debaters. I'm not saying I'm an expert on this. I've only had I've had a fair amount of debates with a lot of flat earthers and stuff, but I won't let them guide me anywhere either. And I like the way he does it. A lot of people, their ego gets in the way and they let themselves be drawn into things that they're not actually talking about for the flat earther to get you a gotcha. Anyway, let's carry on.
There is a South Pole. I'm sure you've seen people take a picture at the South Pole, right?
I haven't been there. Have you been there?
Have you seen people take a picture at the South Pole, Nathan?
I haven't been there.
Have you seen people take a picture of themselves standing at the South Pole, yes or no?
Going to an icy wasteland and calling a place the South Pole and then taking a picture there doesn't prove you're on a cartoon spinning tilted ball, Will. So,
okay,
what's your next one?
People
Nathan,
look up to this person.
It's too easy. Let's go. Chop, chop. Next one.
Too easy. You haven't answered anything yet.
Where on a flat Earth the South Pole is, where they're taking their picture with that pole? Where is it on here?
Okay, see, what you do is you just go to a spot on the flat Earth that's a deserted, icy wasteland, and then you call it the South Pole, and then you get gullible globers to go there and take a picture.
This is so easy.
The sign that says, "This is your globular South Pole," and then you pretend that that's how it works on a globe.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so Nathan, that pole that they're taking a picture with, where is that on this map?
I don't know. I haven't been there.
You have no idea where it is?
No, I don't know. I haven't been there.
Okay, so I'm afraid you're not very well researched then, because the South Pole and Antarctica is one of the main differences between flat Earth and globe, and you have no idea. So if you wanted to get to the South Pole, you have no idea how you'd get there?
No, I've never been there. So did you go there?
I've not been there either.
You haven't been there. I haven't been there.
But guess what, Nathan? Guess what, Nathan? We're not going to say that a place doesn't exist if we haven't been there, right? Have you been to the Dome?
No, I haven't been to the Dome.
Okay, perfect. So don't use an argument with me that you wouldn't use for yourself, okay? There is a pole, Nathan, that people can go to. Guess what? They fly there and they take their
the face of what the fuck have I signed up for here?
Picture with it. I want to know where that is on a flat Earth. Can you reconcile a South Pole with a flat Earth? Yes or no?
Yes, I just detailed how you go to a specific icy wasteland, you put up a sign for gullible globers that says, "This is your globular South Pole that you're upside down on," and then you take a picture because you're a gullible glober and you think that proves the shape of the floor. That doesn't prove the shape of the floor. Well, you're gonna need better proofs than this, bro. No one's buying this, bro.
Hey, Nathan, you're off topic again. I'm not here to prove the globe. We're here to see if the final experiment observations and experiments work on a flat Earth, and you're not showing how they work. So
you didn't even go to the South Pole.
Hey, Nathan. Hey, Nathan, we had someone at the South Pole, and you have no idea where that is.
It's so embarrassing.
Yeah,
and
it's an icy wasteland. They put up a sign that says, "This is your."
Why does he turn up for debate? Like, he does this all the time. So this is why he's on TikTok all the time, right? He's been in, tried to derail a couple of my lives a few times. I've blocked him now because I just can't bear the nonsense. He comes in, says his script, gets argued against and leaves, and then sits there whining in the comment section about how I booted him or how he wants to come back up. Host, let me back up, and all of this, and then comes up, does exactly the same thing, tries it again, gets destroyed again, drops down again like a baby, leaves the room, comes back again, does it all over again, and everybody cheers him on like he's somehow making a point. You kick Nathan off the panel. I've never, ever kicked this bloke off of my panel, by the way. I've blocked him now because he derails the lives, and I try and record them and make them interesting, and he makes them uninteresting and stupid. But I don't know why he bothers doing debates. He's so inept at it.
Popular South Pole, and then gullible Globers took a picture there, Will.
Is there anything else there, or is it just a pole?
I don't know. I haven't been there, Will.
Okay, so you haven't done research. Okay, so Nathan, guess what? There is a station there. It's called the Amundsen Scott South Pole Station. It's massive.
You say so. Without ever being there, that's cool.
So Nathan, you're going to have a very hard time defending flat Earth if you can't even show where this location is that people visit, that my friend visited.
Just show my P900.
Took information for us from the South Pole. So we're going to go ahead and move on because you have failed at reconciling a South Pole with a flat Earth. All right, next we're going to talk about the South Celestial Pole. Are you familiar with what a celestial pole is?
Yeah, are you familiar with what a red herring is?
Okay, so if you're familiar with what a celestial pole is, can you please explain
same old script
South celestial pole on a flat Earth where the stars go in the opposite direction than they do in the north?
Yeah, no problem. James, can I get the big screen, please?
Crystal clear.
You go to Google, right? If you go to Google and you type in red herring fallacy, a red herring fallacy is a logical fallacy that occurs when someone distracts from the main topic of the argument by introducing an irrelevant topic. So
what's the topic of the debate? What's the topic of the debate?
I'm still talking, bro.
Celestial pole was one of the topics that you told him that he wasn't sticking to.
You need to tell me what the topic of the debate is before you can establish that I'm going off topic. What is
now he's doing it. You're saying it's a red herring.
The topic is, did the final experiment end flat Earth, which has to do with the ground, and you're talking about a celestial South Pole.
Part of the final experiment was documenting the South Celestial Pole. The South Celestial Pole is not possible on a flat Earth. Your job is to show how it is. Can you do it? Yes or no?
Yeah, what'd you document? Let's see it.
You haven't seen the videos that we have of the South Celestial Pole?
They're all over.
No, I haven't seen them. You haven't shown anything either, bro. You're going to show anything?
Sure. Will it change your mind?
Yeah, well, it depends on what I see.
No,
okay,
then.
Give me 1 second.
Take your time. We're going to get shown
nervous tune.
Showtime, bro.
Nervous clapping.
Story time. Ears are going to start bleeding.
Why does he do this?
I am a little surprised that you're taking this position that there is no South Celestial Pole, or that I need to show it to you first.
How long have we been going?
You said you documented it.
10 minutes.
What you documented. That way I can detail how this
thus far an annihilation.
Has nothing to do with the shape of the floor.
That's not the topic of the debate, Nathan.
Yeah, you thought your final non-experiment ended flat Earth, which is the shape of the floor, Will.
It did. That's why you've got no arguments against any of it.
There you go, South Celestial Pole. Those stars are rotating in the opposite direction of the north.
You took that in Antarctica?
Robert Schwartz did.
Okay, cool. No problem. Thanks for showing me. Now I forget. Can I get the big screen again? Am I still in it?
Can you reconcile the South Celestial Pole with a flat Earth? Yes or no?
A logical fallacy that occurs when someone distracts from the main topic of an argument by introducing an irrelevant topic. Now, the stars have nothing to do with the shape of the floor. Even Einstein has something called a kinematic equivalence. The Ptolemaic model explained the movement of everything.
Will is not going to let him go to that. I know Will. He will not let him go to Einstein and all that shit.
And show you my watch. It's the Prague clock. They had this Prague clock built 610 years ago, which predates the gravity religion.
I've been in that clock, the actual clock.
There's that 666 again. But they had all this mapped out for 14.
I've been to Prague. I've been in the clock that he's talking about, and there's no mention of any flat Earth nonsense around it at all.
1,500 years on the Ptolemaic model, what was going on in the sky assuming a flat Earth. You could also celestial navigate, getting angles to these stars and the sun, and then navigate the oceans, assuming a flat Earth. So
you go to Prague and learn
really
about it.
Helping your globe religion, and it's a red herring. So next.
So Nathan, you should have done a little bit better homework. I even told you the topics that I was going to be covering, so you could have researched it. You could have watched our videos, but you are not explaining how the South Celestial Pole can exist on a flat Earth. We observed it. It's a natural phenomenon, so we know it exists. So the real question is, can you reconcile what we observed with our own eyes, what we filmed, with a flat Earth? Yes or no?
Yeah, I got this flat Earth dome I picked up from Joe Hanby, and we can actually show star trails in the north and star trails in the south and 24-hour.
That's convincing to him, Joe Hanby's model.
And rainbows and halos and sundogs and eclipses and just about everything you see in the sky can be modeled right here, or at least shown a physical representation of. So
yeah, I'm very familiar.
Better proof you're going to try and end flat Earth.
Hey, Nathan, I'm very familiar with Joe Hanby's model. I actually offered him to demonstrate it on our channel, which he declined. And I've refuted his model. So when it comes to his model and the celestial poles, his south celestial pole is a reflection of the north celestial pole. But in reality, there are different stars and different constellations in the south versus the north. So it cannot be a reflection of the north. So that doesn't work. Do you have any other way of reconciling it or no?
I didn't say it's a reflection. I don't think it's a reflection. And when we project it on the top of the dome, it's not a reflection.
So what's showing up in the south if you're only projecting stars to the top of the dome?
All right, I know you want to play 21 questions about the sky, but the sky...
A reflection of those stars.
They never want to talk about the sky because the sky annihilates their point. I'll only talk about the sky with them. That's what I do because they hate it and they know they can't refute anything. Where's the curve? Show me the curve. Show me the curve. Even when you show them the curve, that's not the curve. That's not the curve. That's apparent. It's all apparent. All right, let's talk about sunsets. Hey, you can't look at the sky. All right, let's talk about star rotations. You can't look at the sky. Let's talk about the everything else in the sky that debunks your model. Can't talk about that. 24-hour moon. Can't talk about that. 24-hour sun. Can't talk about that. What can you talk about? Where's the curve? Parrots.
It's not a red herring. It's on topic. So we can move on. You're failing miserably here. So what about the 24-hour moon in Antarctica?
Miserably.
Can you explain that on a flat Earth?
Yes, of course. No problem. Can I get the big screen, James? Sweet.
It's another fallacy.
Affirming the consequent. It's a logical fallacy where someone assumes that because the outcome of a conditional statement is true, the condition itself must also be true, essentially reversing the logic and leading to an invalid conclusion. The fallacy of affirming the consequent occurs when a person draws a conclusion that if the consequent is true, then the antecedent must be true. So just an affirming the consequent fallacy.
So thanks for showing that. I'm actually not doing that. So all I'm doing is presenting an observation that was made and filmed in Antarctica, and I'm asking you to show if it's possible to happen on a flat Earth. I'm not doing anything like that.
Yeah, the 24 hours
not possible.
Modeled right here with the dome.
This was you had one job, Nathan. Joe Hanby's model is that it's a reflection. Is that what you're saying? Are you saying the 24-hour moon in Antarctica is a reflection of a moon somewhere else?
No, you should go watch this.
Because remember, Joe Hanby's model.
He doesn't know.
Joe Hanby's model uses a flashlight. The moon is not like the sun, so that his model doesn't work for the moon. So can you reconcile a 24-hour moon in Antarctica on a flat Earth?
No.
What the sky does and what's happening in the sky does not determine the shape of the floor. It's
yes, it does.
Herring talking about the sky and pretending you ended flat Earth. Thanks for playing, Will.
Thanks for playing.
Well, the reason I flat Earth, you nor the entire flat Earth community can explain these things that I'm telling you. Like, for example, they can't explain how we got internet in Antarctica. It's very simple. We got it from satellites. So this isn't good. This isn't good.
Explanations are not proof, Will. I don't know if you know that, but you can walk down to a local tavern, find the local village idiot, and ask him anything under the sun, and he'll give you an explanation for a pint. That doesn't mean he's true. That doesn't mean he's right.
It does if you can't refute it, which you can't to any of these points. So therefore, he's right and you're wrong. You can refute the village idiot in the pub if you've got any intelligence whatsoever. You probably couldn't, but you can't refute anything he's saying. That's the point.
Okay, explanations are not proof. So you sitting over there asking 21 questions
disprove
about the
it
sky
then
and saying you don't have an explanation for the sky doesn't end what the floor is, bro. You gotta be joking.
But Nathan, it's probably reasonable, right, for him to ask.
Thank you, moderator.
Where he's saying, hey, let's say evidence A seems less probable on a flat Earth than a globe Earth. It's reasonable for him to ask how you would explain it, right?
Embarrassing.
So I do want to, if you're willing to engage in terms of trying to give an explanation.
I haven't seen it. So he went and saw it. Good for him. Looking at the sky doesn't determine what the floor is, James. That's all he's got. Great, excellent.
Looking at the sky, don't return to
No, I've got more.
tell you what the floor is.
I'm enjoying this thoroughly.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, cool.
Great.
All right,
so, the best one, bro.
All right, I will. I'm just going to recap for the audience. So we don't know how you can get internet in Antarctica on a flat Earth. We don't know where the South Pole
Checking
is
his non-watch.
We don't know how there can be a
Prague clock
pole on a flat Earth. We don't know how there can be a 24-hour moon in Antarctica on a flat Earth. Let's talk about the 24-hour sun. So Nathan, will you at least admit that you were adamant that there was no 24-hour sun in Antarctica?
No.
I didn't know. I'd never been there.
Nathan, that was not your position. That's false. You never said, hey guys, I don't know if there's one or not. I haven't been there. You joined the rest of the flat Earth community in saying there isn't one. And the reason you guys were so adamant is because it doesn't work on a flat Earth.
Yeah, I would have thought that there wasn't one because every time I posted in the group for 6 years, are you all right, bro?
I'm great.
Every time I posted in the group for like 6 years, if any Glober can show me evidence of a 24-hour sun in the south, because there's thousands of videos of it happening in the north, that would be really great. I'd really appreciate that. And no one ever did after 6 years of me asking. So
now they did.
I was led to believe that it didn't happen. But if it does happen, that's cool. We can already show a physical representation of a flat Earth of how it happens. So
okay, so
we're going to talk about the floor at all this debate.
Okay, so let's talk about the 24-hour sun. Again, Joe Hanvey's model fails big time. So were you aware that the 24-hour sun that we filmed and saw in Antarctica made a wave pattern through the sky, that it changed elevation consistently? It would go up then down, then up then down.
What the sun does in the sky has no relevance to what the Earth is or the floor is underneath your feet. I've looked at the floor with high-power zoom cameras, infrared, telescope, land surveying equipment, mirror reflection test, laser test. You don't live on a curved pear or a curved ball. So asking me 21 questions about a place I've never been and what happens in the sky there is making you look silly, Will.
Just
okay.
one question. Just I think some people in the chat are confused because they're trying to understand. Nathan, would you say that a 24-hour sun is a problem for the flat Earth? Like, would you say no? Actually, it's not a problem. We have this explanation. Here it is. Or would you say we don't have an explanation?
We can show a physical representation of a dome.
No, you can't. He's already refuted that numerous times, and to the guy that actually created it that wouldn't demonstrate it on his channel. So why do you keep pretending that that didn't happen?
And how you can get a 24-hour sun over a flat Earth with a dome. So no, it's not a problem if he saw a 24-hour sun.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so Nathan, here's the issue. People have noticed, and I brought this up to Joe Hanvey, and a lot of people have brought it up to him, that he's not putting the camera inside the dome. He's putting the camera on the outside of the dome to get what might look like a 24-hour sun. But if you put the camera inside, you would never see it. So that's actually a false model because we were not outside of any dome. We never saw any dome. And there was no camera outside the dome. Our cameras were all in Antarctica. So his model doesn't even work. If he were to put a camera on the inside of his dome, there would be no 24-hour sun. Now, again, Nathan, did you notice in our videos that the sun made a wave pattern through the sky? Because Joe Hanvey's model doesn't do that.
What the sun does in the sky over a place I've never been has no relevance on the floor that I've tested for the last 10 years and just showed you about a dozen evidences. It's not curving.
If it has no relevance, why did you guys all go on about it forever? How it proves your point that you can't see a video of the sun doing circles, but you can in the north, but not in the south. If it's irrelevant, why did you bring that up? Why did you use that as evidence for all of those years if it's completely irrelevant? Why? Answer that question.
In all directions. We don't have a physical geometric horizon. We see way too far. Thanks for playing, Will.
Thanks for playing. Welcome to Flat Earth. Thanks for playing.
Let's talk about southern flights.
Says that when he's nervous.
Critical Think flew nonstop from Santiago, Chile to Sydney, Australia. Can you please explain how that flight is possible on a flat Earth and where the path of that flight travels on a flat Earth?
I don't know. I haven't taken that flight. I just test the floor, Will. That's what I do. But I do have pitch data from a 2-hour airplane flight, United Airlines flight. Here's the pitch data. If anybody needs it, send me an email, flatearthflyers@gmail.com. But the pitch data shows that the airplane flew straight and level for 2 hours. Now, if you do the math.
Okay, cool. So I don't look at flights. I just talk about the ground. But here's some evidence that I think backs me up. So I'm totally going to use this one, but not the one you're mentioning. Definitely not.
Math for the globe religion. After 2 hours of flying straight and level, you would be 120 miles above the surface of the Earth. You could almost stop at the ISS and pick up those stranded astronauts. if this was the case, guys. But yeah, we got the pitch data. The attitude indicator only works if the plane is flying straight and level over a flat, non-rotating Earth, and the FAA trains pilots on the target generation facility, which is a flat Earth simulator that negates rotation and negates a gravity vector.
Oh,
So
no.
airplane flights aren't doing your curve any justice.
The thing is, I've heard him bring up all of these points and have them explained to him thousands of times, yet he still brings them up. He knows the answer. He knows it's bullshit, but he still brings it up anyway because he hopes the person he's talking to won't know the answer. Dishonest.
Okay, Nathan. So you went off topic again. We're talking about a very specific flight.
That's all you need to
the
do.
Final experiment. You have not explained how that flight works on a flat Earth, and you actually just said something completely false. Number one, the FAA does not train pilots, so you should stop saying that. Number two, pilots do not train on a target generation facility. That's false. Where did you get this? It's completely wrong. Was this from
Indeed,
TikTok?
The Federal Aviation Administration assumes a flat Earth when training pilots and air traffic controllers using their target generation facility. The TGF consists of several software programs that control simulation scenarios using simulated aircraft. The TGF computer simulator drive almost all of the air traffic control laboratories of the FAA William J. Hughes Technical Center. The FAA states our lab has worked closely with the TGF group to have aircraft perform the way air traffic controllers would expect them to behave in a real, natural airspace systems. NAS.
What are you reading from?
This is from The Greatest Lie on Earth by Edward Hendry and has citations from the FAA website.
Okay, so number one, the FAA does not train pilots. You are incorrect. They certify pilots. They don't train them. Number two, pilots are not trained on a target generation facility. That's for air traffic controllers. That's not for pilots. If you go find a pilot and ask him if he was trained on a target generation facility, he's going to say no because they're not trained on a TGF. So you should just correct that going forward because it's wrong.
Won't.
This is
He
one
won't
of the
correct
issues that I
anything.
found in the flat Earth community is they don't do research with people that might disagree with them. All the flat Earth community had to do was reach out to Anthony Powell or Robert Schwartz about the 24-hour sun. But they refused to do that and took a position that there wasn't a 24-hour sun. If you just reach out to a pilot and talk to him, he will tell you what I'm telling you.
Okay, so just whatever a pilot says, we'll just believe that. Excellent.
Okay, so back to the topic of the
Another concession, thumbs up, pretending he's not conceded. Okay, I'm totally wrong here. I look like a dick. Okay, I'll just move on because I can't be bothered because I'm destroying you so much anyway. Welcome to Flat Earth. And all that shit, right? Doesn't work.
debate. Can you please explain how a nonstop flight from Santiago, Chile to Sydney, Australia is possible on a flat Earth?
Yeah, of course. If you look at the pitch data, which I'll put back on screen,
Oh, no.
maybe you weren't paying attention. The pitch data shows that they fly straight and level the entire duration of the flight. They also have an attitude indicator.
What does that
Has
have
a
to do with
gyroscope
the
inside.
distance?
The reason they use a gyroscope because it keeps its rigidity in space. Once you spin that thing up, it stays
Doesn't.
on that plane of rotation. And so if we were flying around a globe, which is a cartoon, by the way, guys, the orientation of the gimbal base would change.
It's not the
with respect to
question.
the gyroscope.
Globe's a cartoon. Where's the real physical photograph of the flat Earth and the dome? Just CGI.
So, and we got the pitch data too, bro. So thanks for playing.
So I'm talking
Thanks for
about a
playing.
very specific flight here. And the
I don't know, you
reason,
don't have any data for the flight. So you just asked me a question. I gave you the answer. If you don't like the answer, run home to mom, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
would you like the data for the flight?
Does it show that we live on a cartoon globe?
Would you like the data for the flight?
If it shows we live on a cartoon globe, then I would love to see it.
Okay, so Nathan, the reason this flight doesn't work on a flat Earth is because it's so far
God.
south. It
It's
begins
making me
and
cringe.
ends
I
south
can't
of the
watch him
Tropic of
fake
Capricorn.
laughing.
As I mentioned, a flat Earth pushes the south out indefinitely, so distances get far. This flight is impossible on a flat Earth because of distance, and the time that this flight happens, which is about 13 and a half hours, is also impossible on a flat Earth. So can you reconcile that flight with a flat Earth?
Yeah, of course. There's no curve. You're talking about the sky again, bud. It's a red herring. Are we going to talk about the floor at all this debate, Will, or not?
Okay, so I gave you a list of the things that I was going to be presenting that I don't think you can reconcile with a flat Earth. I have not attempted to reconcile them with a flat Earth. I am completely content to go to Q&A at this point.
Excellent. If I could do closing arguments, James?
We hadn't talked about closings, but if you guys mutually agree, I'm open to having closings. Maybe
Totally
something
fine.
maybe something like 3 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
need to.
whatever is great with me.
You got it.
All right, you
Go
go
ahead,
first in the
Nathan.
opening. I'll go first in the closing.
Great.
So again, all of his arguments had to do with the sky. And he thinks looking at the sky.
As agreed before the debate, you agreed all of the points and you've even ruled them off yourself and now you're complaining about them. Typical knob.
Is going to prove what the floor is. Now, I've looked at the floor for 10 years. I've used every piece of optical technology you can find, get your hands on, to look at the floor. The floor isn't curving. The Bible says test all things and hold fast to that which is true. I've done that with the floor. So asking me about a 24-hour sun in a place I've never been isn't going to convince me what the floor is. I've tested the floor. Asking me about a 24-hour moon in a place I've never been isn't going to convince me what the floor is. That's, again, the sky. Asking me about a South Pole that you've never been to doesn't convince me that the Earth is curving in all directions. It doesn't end flat Earth. Thanks for playing. Asking me about a celestial pole is a red herring argument. You're not even on topic anymore. You're not even talking about the floor. You're off in La La Land trying to Jedi mind trick gullible flat earthers that will listen to what you're saying. I'm not a global flat earther, okay? I was looking forward to some evidence.
Yeah, you
didn't have any evidence. You had a lot of talking points, a lot of story time. I put up 12 images or so.
Actually, I'm going to agree with him. He's not a gullible flat earther. He totally knows we live on a globe, but it's the only income he makes for himself, pretending that we don't. So he's going to continue it against all odds and against all evidence.
That debunk the cartoon globe religion. Anyone can go test it themselves. And thanks for playing well. I really appreciate your time, and thanks for all the work you did, making my YouTube views and my Instagram views and my Facebook views explode through the roof.
With people laughing at you.
Cheers.
We'll kick it to Will for his closing as well.
Okay, great. So I actually, just so everyone knows, I sent Nathan the list of what I would be talking about so that he knew exactly.
I'm not listening to you.
He would have an opportunity to watch the videos on the TFE channel and know exactly the arguments I would be presenting. As I predicted, which is why I made this, he would not be able to reconcile the observations and experiments we did in Antarctica and Chile with a flat Earth. Now, this is why there's a major exodus right now. I haven't even gone public yet that have contacted me and will go public soon, is because there are no answers to this. And so real truthers are going to look at the evidence and they're going to see the truth and the reality of what we saw. And they're going to see that it simply doesn't work on a flat Earth. And those and the truthers that are willing to look at it and see the truth of the matter are going to leave flat Earth, like Jaron, like Alex Stein, like Robbie Davidson, and so many others. And so this discussion tonight is a perfect example of how certain people will react when they don't like new evidence that's presented to them that contradicts a belief that they have. And so that's kind of where things stand. And I'm really glad that we did this. And I just hope that people will be able to see that the flat Earth community does not have answers for what we brought back. And so I think that the final experiment has definitely ended flat Earth. Thank you.
Thank you very much for both of those closings. We're going to jump into the Q&A. In fact, folks.
There you go. No Q&A here. The Q&A usually is, if I know Nathan, I've seen him on MDD a few times, and he will just hurry people up, not answer questions and all of that stuff. And it's a very boring Q&A when he does that sort of stuff. I will watch it myself later on, but I'm not going to put it on here because I wanted to keep this as short as possible. Just wanted to watch the main bit of the debate there that I didn't get to watch last night because it was very, very late. So that's completely what I expected. Doesn't answer anything, just dismisses anything that doesn't work and then brings them up if it does work. Like, he'll bring up the sun if it works for him. He'll bring up flights if they work for him and then dismiss them when they don't and say it's the sky, not the floor. Won't produce any evidence of the floor being flat, but we'll keep going on about it because he will dismiss any evidence of it not being flat, like a horizon, for instance. These people are hard for me to tolerate because it's such bad faith. They won't just have a conversation and concede anything because they have to play to their idiot followers that just want to feel special, right? And the reason that they annoy me so much is because one of the reasons is because there probably are real conspiratorial things in the world, and everybody will just dismiss them offhand, even if they're true, because flat Earth exists and things like that, things that are so ridiculous and obviously false. And they just don't do themselves any favors with their mindset of things that may be true that they believe. They don't do themselves any favors, and they just are so dismissive of anything that you can present to them that it just becomes annoying. Well, hopefully you got something out of that. You enjoyed that. And if I spoke over important bits, I do apologise. But I just watch along with you guys, and it's the way I like to do things. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, follow, etc. Comment. What did you think about this? Let me know. See you later.